So first thing first, we were studying about volumes. We were studying about what is the significance of like what are the different types of volume that AWS supports. We've studied that. Apart from that, we studied about EBS and difference between an EBS and an EFS. Today we'll do a demo session for EFS to understand what are the different options that an EFS shares, and what is the difference, a very very basic difference between an EFS and an EBS. Okay,
Yeah. Sure.
let let us quickly start on that part. Okay, this looks good to me. Now let me quickly share my screen. So this is our Amazon Web Services. I'll quickly open my account. Once I open my account, I'll go to EC2. Now, what I'll do here is I'll simply create an EFS as we created last time too. So I'll just write DevOps course EFS. I'll just, you can customize it. So you can select whether you want to go for regional one zone, as in I want to keep it only in one zone. This is the zone where I want to keep it for. Okay, archive is not available for one zone. Do you want to take up automated backups? No, I don't want to create a backup. I want to start. I want REST encryption. If I want to create a KMS key and put it for encryption, that is also possible. But I don't want to do that. I want to use the default one for now. Performance options, we have discussed. Enhanced one is the one that I'm using right now. Now, once EFS is ready, I'll go to my EC2 instance. I'll launch an EC2 instance, maybe test. This is for the new instance that you're launching. Okay. I will also tell you what you will have to do if you have an existing instance and you want to attach an EFS to it. Okay. I'm creating a simple Ubuntu machine. Edit. I'll select the subnet. I'll select the same subnet where my NFS resides. Else it's going to be, else it will not be able to attach itself. Okay. Because it's a zonal NFS. Okay. If you want to have like share it between multiple zones, then you have to make it a regional one. This is the mount point and this is the file system. I'll just quickly go ahead and launch this instance for now. Let this instance come up. This is a new instance which has EFS already installed in it. I will create one more EFS manual. Okay. So in this, we'll manually attach EFS and see how it works. Okay. I'm not attaching an EFS here right now. Okay. Because I want to tell you two variations of it. There is one instance which has EFS attached to it during the time of launching an instance. In this, I am not attaching any EFS during the time of deployment of the machine, but I'll be attaching it later. Oh no. I accidentally closed that thing. So now there are two instances. One is, I'll rename this one to DevOps course EFS deploy. So EFS deploy as in during the time of EFS deployment, sorry, during the time of machine deployment, I'm setting that. This is just a simple name. It doesn't signify anything. It's just a way of interacting with that machine. Okay. So let's first see what's happening here. Okay. You might have to give it some time for it to initialize and get through that. Okay. /mnt. Let's wait for a few more minutes. EFS, you see, it is coming up. It did not come up then, okay, initially. Now it is coming up. Now we are inside that mount, we are inside that volume itself. If you see here, can you see this part? It
Yeah.
will attach it automatically when you during the deployment itself. This is our EFS volume. If you want to check, you can come here and check too. Like, I will take you there. Now all of these different options I'm showing you is because anyone could be like, it's possible that you might need this one, that one. So this is the EFS that is already attached to it. Now let me write a file here. This is to test EBS attachment. Okay. Done. Okay. Now once this is done, I'll wait for a few more minutes. Okay. And I will go to this machine and try to attach this EFS volume here. Okay. Now difference between this machine and that machine is, in this machine I have attached it. I'll rename it. DevOps. I'm just renaming the tab here. Why? Because I want to tell you that, okay, this is how it was automatic. Okay. Or during the deployment. And I'll change the name for this to be manual. Okay. So in this, I'll manually try and attach the EFS. I hope we have not done it last time. Because I remember there was a challenge that we faced last time. Now, if you remember in the previous class, I've given you a documentation too. I hope you remember it. If you don't, then also it's better to read these documentations too, because they do give you a very nice idea of how things work here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you come here, it is clearly telling you, and it is an official documentation. Generally, uh, generally, this particular documentation that you are seeing, like here in AWS, it's a very good documentation. It will tell you step by step too. Okay, so you can check how things are working here. Okay. Now, in this also there are certain pointers. In that also there are certain pointers. You can use any one of them. For now, I'm starting with this one. It is asking me Okay, let me try it with, I'm just checking. Gather information, install an EFS client, and then mount point. Okay. I'll start from here first. I don't think it was required. Manually installing EFS client. I'm going to go to other distributions. When I'm going to other distributions, it will show you DBN1. So it is asking me to perform these actions, which I'm performing right now. Even if we don't do it, it should still work, but okay. This is simple installation steps, okay? So you don't have to worry about these installation steps so much, okay? There is not much we can do in these installation steps. You can use different options to do the installations. Okay, so if I come here, they have specifically mentioned to install this EFS client. You can install this EFS client on the system. There are multiple ways to do so. Okay, what does it say? Cannot be accessed. I can come here and run that command for now, for it to have that full privileges for the time being, because it might need some extra privileges. After that, I'll just run this command. It says it is already installed, so we are good to go. Okay. Selecting this instead of this, so it is already installed, so you are good to go. Now after this installation, what did they mention? Creating and managing mount targets and uh, security groups. Okay, now you can go to this documentation for the time being. We are using CLI option. Okay, if you want, you can, I think we can avoid this part too, but you can do it via this also. You can do it via console also. So for now we are doing it via console. It's asking you to go to EFS, go to file system, manage ID, network to display all the mount targets, and manage to display the availability zone. To remove a security group, I think we'll have to just select the security group to list the availability. Okay, I think we'll just have to attach the security group only. It is asking us to go to EFS. In EFS, go to network. In network, okay, this is the EFS. I think I should attach it to. I attach it to the incorrect EFS. Actions. Since it is a part of security, it will go to security option, create, like I can get the security group and add the security group here. So this is the correct security group which we'll have to add. That's what it is trying to mention here. Okay. Now, after this, we'll start with these options. Like, I'll tell you why we are doing this. Actually, we don't need it here. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Fine. Now I'll explain you each and every point also, but I am trying to explain you more about like reading the documentation too. Okay. Now we have to give our mount point. Our mount point is this, like the DNS name. If you read the documentation, it's clearly mentioned that you'll have to give the DNS name there. Okay.
Yeah.
Once this is done, we'll wait for a few minutes for it to be successfully attached here. If it gives any error, then we'll have to check what is incorrect with the mounting part. Okay. I think we should have just written this part. I don't think we needed that big part also. EFS file system ID, and our mount point is this only, no? EFS mount point. This is correct. And we just need the EFS ID. Okay. Our EFS ID is basically this part. Is this one. Okay, without the dot. You'll get all of this information even on the main pages too. It has failed. Okay, this is why it was taking that much time. So maybe we'll try it once again. I think we have missed something in this part. Network to display all the mount targets. Manage zone page appears. Remove all the mount targets displayed on the page. Save it. Okay, this is for to change the VPC. We don't want to change the VPC. We just want to do it here. I think I'll have to add the mount target. Network is correct. Wait. Let's just go through this part once again. Go to the file system. In file systems, there is an EFS. Name of the EFS and EFS ID is displayed. Go to the network to get the list of mount targets. I don't want to manage and to remove. Okay. Did I actually make? I think I made this. Save. It's mounted. Okay, it was just waiting for me to attach that security group too. Why? Because when you see here, there are two security groups that are mentioned here. Either you'll have to add your security group here too, as in that was, I thought that I already attached default only there, but since I did not, it was waiting for it to have this and this one and not this one. So if I would have attached this one too, then there would have been a possibility to have that, like to attach that, else it was not, it was giving me an error. Okay, so security group should be successfully attached. After that, when I'll go to this mount point, what file I have written here is available here. Now when I'm writing a file here, text one, this file is coming from manual mount machine. I might have to try and use sudo. If I don't want to use sudo, manual mount point, and we'll save this file. As soon as we'll see this file will come here too. We did not do anything, but this is all happening on the network file system, NAFS. This is why this particular file system is called EFS file system. It is basically used more for sharing the files between multiple systems, sharing the data like NFS systems and all of that. Okay, if I have one file system and I want to attach it to multiple places, EFS is the better option. Okay, but EBS is basically used for root devices, because root device you don't want to mount it at multiple points, right? um any other questions, queries so far? So for solving this particular problem, we have used this page a bit. You could have used just this page, that would have also worked like charm. If you want to use this and this combined, you can use this and this combined too, because this has more of like a proper NFS kind of steps, but this has more of like specific to EFS kind of steps. Okay, now apart from EFS, you have seen that we have all we had multiple options in this EFS. One is which type of, like, do you want to have it in multiple zones, or you want to have it like uh, you want to have it in multiple zones or not? Okay, you want to have it in one zone or not? You can have encryption. Okay, that is given for EBS 2. Okay, you have automated backups in this mechanism. In that you don't. There is a life cycle management and a performance mode too for this. Okay, that is kind of not something that is given by EBS, but EBS is always a higher like kind of a proper SSD kind of a file system. Okay, that's going to be a bit faster than this one, because that's not working on network part. Okay, and you are writing, if you are writing even directly on the root system, that also is faster in that case than in this case. Okay, um you guys can also see, if you see, this is the monitoring part of it, as to how much we have utilized, what is the throughput, as in how many times we have tried to retrieve data, add data, update data, kind of number of connections that we have. Right now we have connected it to two systems. That's why it is two. If you'll disconnect it to any one of these systems, it will disconnect. Okay, now in this particular file system, like where I've manually mounted it, we'll have to check if this entry is there in FS tab, then it will sustain, else it will go after reboot. So example, if I reboot the system, this file system that I've just now attached will go off. Now see number of connections. Okay, analyze. It will take a bit more time because it is collecting data, interpolating data, so it might take some time for this client connections to reduce. This should definitely reduce. Okay, you can like decide how much time of data, like how much data points you would like to see. So in the local time zone, I want to see only minutes, 15 minutes. Continue. So I want to only see last 15 minutes data. Let it happen. but here it will no longer be mounted, I guess. No file. Why? Because it is no longer mounted. If you see the mount point 2, it is not there. Now if you mount it again using the command that we have written before, then it will work. Okay, we might have to wait for some time for it to. How does it show 13? Data point will come down. Okay, seconds is going to be like too short. After every 15 minutes, this like after every 1 minute, it should kind of revise. Oh, 15 months. You see, one connection. Then when I manually added it, it was two connections for a few minutes. And then when I rebooted my system and my mount point decreased, now there is only one client connection. So you can analyze this data too here. Okay, in case of EBS, it can only be attached to one machine at a time. So there, this doesn't make sense. Okay, here if you see, there is no specific kind of, when you see, did I mention anywhere that I need this much of space? 1 GB, 2 GB, 10 GB, 100 GB? No. So it is not charged based on GBs. Okay, it is charged based on the usage. Cool.
Yeah.
Like currently we are using 6 KBs. Okay, it can be 60, but you cannot have EFS as the root device for any system. Okay, so root system will always be this volumes, EBS volumes, block storages, as we discussed last time. Okay, are simple SSDs. So consider this as a simple SSD. This will have a specific, like it is of specific size and all of that. You'll have to come increase the size and all of that. Okay, this is expandable. Now we don't need any replication because we have only we have it only in one zone. If you want to replicate it to other zones, then you can make it zonal, like zonal EFS, and then probably use the replication part of it too. Any other questions, queries that you guys have so far? No. I am sharing these pages with you. I want you to try it out first too. Okay, and then we will start with specifically about the last storage that they provide, that is S3 storages, like the object storages. So we have studied up till now, we have studied about block storage, then we studied about networks, file systems, and the last is going to be the object storage that we'll be learning. Okay, so I'm just thinking and analyzing the fact that whether we should be going to S3 or we should still stay here and learn more about EC2 instances and AMI. Okay, but before that, we'll do some analysis on EBS EFSs too. Okay, in this scenario where we studied about EBS EFS, if you see, you have not only used EBS and EFS, you have used encryption too. Like in KMS keys, you're using encryption. In case of EFS, you are understanding more about replication, multi-zone, rather than, because most of the things that you have created up till now, EC2 instances and all of that, they are in a particular zone. But when you talk about EFS, it can be in single zone, it can be in multi-zone too, wherein in one zone you are writing, in the other zone it is replicating the same thing. Okay, example, you have two EC2 instances which are in different zones. Probably this is the thing that you might might be helpful for you. Okay, it is helpful for you in case of SFTP systems. Okay, and those use cases. Okay, it is not good for databases and other things, because it is comparatively, your database operation will become a bit costlier and might have a bit more latency than an EBS. Okay, so there all of us will be still using EBS and others. Cool. Any other questions you guys have? Because we have like 15 minutes, I want to check if you guys want to start with new topic, because new topic we might not be able to complete today, that's why. You guys want to have a pair programming session here, because we have 15 minutes left. If you want, I can have a pair programming session for you guys right now. Please say something, guys.